I would say we start, Felix.
Yes, we had some last
Yeah.
participants joining. I think we're ready.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar, number 3 in the row. My name is Carina López. I'm working as Unit Lead User Experience and Partner at iSquare. And I have today with me Felix as a guest, Felix Metger.
Hello, everyone.
So we will talk about digital relation and e-commerce and activation in e-commerce. Maybe you have already joined our last webinars. As I said, this is a series we are running at the moment. Michael Schiessel was already talking to you a lot about how consumers experiencing Corona. Today we will focus a little bit more on digital relation and activation in the field of e-commerce. Also, of course, stay tuned for our next webinar, which will happen next week. Number 4, System 0. So for those of you who don't know iSquare yet, I'll just give you a quick overview to our company. We are on the market since 21 years. We are founded in 1999. We are working in 3 teams, which means we are doing user experience, brand and media, and shopper research. We have our headquarters in Berlin, but have small offices in London, New York, Hong Kong, and Tokyo, and Kerala in India, as far as I know, as a brand new satellite office. We are working with 82 consultants in implicit consumer research at all digital touchpoints. We also are having a patented software technology, and we are working for more than 300 global blue chip clients from many industries. Of course, we are also proud of our 11 research awards. As I already said, we are mainly doing consumer research in these 3 areas of user experience, brand and media, and shopper research. But we are strongly focusing on technology. We have a great technology development team who is constantly improving our in-context software suite to enable cutting-edge implicit research tools. And also we have a strong science focus. We have a data science team which is continually improving and taking care of our large benchmark database. So today we want to talk more about relations and activations in times of Corona. For those of you who have been joining the last webinars, probably you already know the crisis model, which Michael already introduced to you. So when Corona, the pandemic started, the whole society was in the kind of turmoil. It was characterized by a feeling of panic. Cognition was chaotic, and you know that consumers only focused on the last media news regarding Corona. Their attention window was quite small and only focused on the latest developments of the pandemic. The second phase, regression phase, is something where I would say we are now. Regression means that we are starting to getting used to Corona. We are getting used to social distancing, to the lockdown, and both positive and negative emotions are developing in this phase now. On a negative side, maybe people get a little bit more afraid and concerned about their work, and also maybe about the future. You know, they are concerned how they should take care of their children and so on. But also regression has a lot of room for positive feelings, which means you don't have to go any longer to the office. Everything is slowing down a little bit. You can take your time. And in this moment, also the time for consumption, of course, takes place. I have time to do online shopping. I have time maybe also to reward myself with some products I want to shop and taking my time for it. So the Hamsterkäufe during turmoil and panic phase are already a little bit over when regression takes place. I would actually say we are almost maybe even at the end of this regression phase, looking into the next phase, which is called hyperstrange or megastrange, which is more a phase where consumers are focused on practical solutions to cope with all the tangible problems Corona is bringing us to everyday life. So taking this into account that we are now having more time for consumption, maybe also for online shopping, let's have just a quick look into the App Store download statistics for the US. This is just one of many examples. There are many examples in the news that showed us that online shopping increases, consumption increases, social media usage increases. But as we can see here, the download statistics for apps, we have a strong decrease in travel, airlines, and jobs, which is, of course, was expected. We have a strong increase regarding food delivery, a lot of increase from the restaurants, since people can't go to the restaurants any longer. They take advantage of the delivery option, but also shopping and entertainment. You can see that shopping increased 35% after COVID pandemic started, and entertainment increased about 50%. So users have time for entertainment and online shopping right now. This actually leads us to some chances this Corona crisis is also bringing us, chances regarding digital e-commerce strategies. So the first chance lies in social media platforms. I mean, as we all see, and as you also probably know from yourself, social distancing doesn't keep us from communicating with people. Even we still have even a stronger need maybe to stay in touch with people and communicate. So we need a lot of social media for this and digital communication platforms. Also, maybe some consumers feel a little bit bored at home, you know, you have more time. So social media is a good entertainment also. So social media platforms are a good and maybe the most crucial channel also to allocate your media spendings, your marketing budgets to reach your target group. Second chance for digital e-commerce strategies is, of course, e-commerce business on its own. It's a very promising industry to keep your revenue stable and even increase conversions. Of course, nowadays, consumers still need their daily products, FMCG products, hygiene products, not talking about food, beverages. We even see this strong increase since also all people who did offline shopping before are now forced to do online shopping. So there's a very strong increase in e-commerce and a big chance on e-commerce platforms, retailers, and online shops. The last chance is the web shop, of course, since it can be a very good sales channel when online shopping gets more important than ever. But also there's more competition because everyone who has an online shop tries to make use of it. So there's a very important thing that you need to stay competitive and optimize your web shop against others. Benchmark is maybe to other web shops. And also with the new user groups coming into play, consumers who were used to go offline shopping now are forced to shop online. So it's very important to make your web shop accessible and easy to use for those user types as well. Taking all these three chances into account, I will now talk about 3 success stories for digital communication. The first success story is coming from the advertising and media field of research we are doing. It's called Ad Effects on Ecom. I will show you an example how to measure and optimize the impact of Instagram and YouTube ads on e-commerce shopping behavior. This case study involves some prominent ads like you can see here, L'Oreal, Adidas, Nike, and yeah, I'll show you this in a minute, it will be very interesting. Second success story will be shown to you by Felix Metger. As I said, Felix is our guest today. He's a real e-commerce expert and he will tell you about e-commerce A/B testing and how to maximize the impact of crucial shopper marketing assets like product presentation and communication. Also there we tested some brands and some products as examples and as cases. The third area is user experience benchmarking. I will show you some results from our e-commerce UX benchmarking, how to benchmark your online shop with other competitors and optimize it towards user needs. So let's start with the first success story, the impact of Instagram and YouTube ads on e-commerce shopping behavior. So what all these success stories, as I said, have in common is they are using our latest technology, which is in-context testing. What is in-context testing? In-context software allows panelists, all respondents, to browse and use online platforms like social media and retailers like Amazon, as they are normally doing. They are normally and very naturally in a biotic surrounding browsing these platforms, while our software ensures at the same time to present the test ad campaigns and also products and pack shots, as well as other simulated content in this natural environment. We have a very broad portfolio here. You can see social media e-commerce platform where we are able to test in context. And why we are doing these in context tests? Well, on the one hand, online questionnaires are often a very dry and boring experience when it comes to the consumers, right? And they can also lead to high incentive costs. And we know that besides of this, testing in natural and biotic environment gives us very valuable and implicit insights into consumer behavior. What we have done in this study is that we first of all exposed respondents to different ads. So they first, where was the ad exposure? They were routed to a replication of social media platforms. They were browsing freely around Instagram and YouTube. And after that, they were taken to a replication of an Amazon shop and they were asked to search for a product category there in Amazon. What we were doing with our technology, we were tracking their browsing and scrolling behavior, and we interpreted this as a dependent variable. So we knew exactly which kind of sites they were visiting: search results page, product detail page, and even if they put a product into the basket. This is all going back to this funnel model in shopping metrics by own purchasing. So what we are able to do is, these are the three crucial phases to understand regarding shopping methods. So first of all, we have to see if the product was really noticed, if there's an awareness for the product, has it been viewed on search results page. After that, we know if it was inspected. Was it clicked through and time spent on the product detail page? Was it considered actually by consumers, and was it put in the relevant set? And last but not least, very important, we know if they added it to the shopping cart. So if there was a real purchase intent. So what we've done in this huge case study, we had 1,000 participants. We tested 12 creatives, 6 brands from 3 verticals, 3 platforms were involved. You can see this is a different and complex treatment control setting. We measured ad effects with many brands in many environments and many respondents. Of course, the control group had no ad exposure, and this was a baseline study we have done. Let me first give you a broad overview of the key takeaways of this study, which was very interesting for us. So first of all, the ad playback duration influences the shopping behavior on Amazon. This means the time the ad is shown is very crucial for my shopping behavior. If users are seeing the product, aware of the product, and even put it in the shopping basket. Second, purchasing behavior on Amazon is a better indicator of small ad effects than a survey. We can see very significant differences here, and this is just another example that this implicit methodology is very interesting. Third, there are big differences between the platforms, for example, between YouTube and Instagram. YouTube performed maybe a little bit better because it had a longer playback duration, but while in Instagram the brand is more visible. And the fourth finding, last but not least, the creative, of course, is very important. This is something about size and dynamics of the creative. I will now go more in detail regarding the first 2 findings here. First finding, ad playback duration influences shopping behavior. So as we can see here, those consumers who were seeing the ad on either YouTube or Instagram had more clicks on the search results page on Amazon and were more likely to purchase the product and put it into the basket on Amazon. This is a highly significant positive correlation, and it just says the longer the ad duration, the better the shopping behavior. Also, there are big differences between the creatives in the size of this effect. As you can see here, the example for L'Oreal, those who have seen the ad on either YouTube or Instagram had more clicks on a search results page on Amazon and were also more likely to purchase the product and put it into the basket. For example, for L'Oreal, this worked very well. L'Oreal is a top performer here. This ad has a good and direct way of product placement. So the longer the exposure, the higher the product desire and the higher the probability to buy it. Second finding, purchasing behavior on Amazon is better at teasing out small ad effects than a survey. As you can see here, the result, while effects on ad recall are strong, so we can say strong effects, we can see strong effects on ad recall. The gray is the control groups. Of course, they have not seen any advertising, but they think they have seen some. So as you can see, they have some Q ad recall, but nevertheless, this result confirms that advertising is effective. We have good ad recall rates for the test groups, free and queued as well. But while effects on ad recall are strong, as we can see here, advertising is working, the brand effects are not as clear. So as you can see here, there are no big differences between the control and the test group. All these metrics like brand awareness, queued brand awareness, and also consideration is quite flat. So this means only because you have seen an ad does not mean that you have a higher product interest, right? And this actually happens many times in advertising research. For example, if I always buy shampoo and then I see a shampoo ad in a survey online and then I'm asked if I have a higher brand interest in the survey, I would not say explicitly that I have a higher interest in the brand. So brand effects are mostly stable when consumers are asked to think about them in a survey. So what do we say? That's why it's so interesting. Oftentimes you find out that your ad is working well, your brand and product are working well, but you actually don't know if this has really an impact on the purchase decision. But we can see here, there is an implicit effect regarding the impact of ads on e-commerce behavior, because we see that 19% who have been exposed to advertising are likely to click on Amazon search results page. They visit also the product detail page, and even 15%, as we can see and we can prove here, put the product in the basket. So we can say that only through this implicit research, it's possible for us to measure ad effects on purchase behavior in a very sensitive and in a very accurate way. And if you want to know more about this very interesting insights, you are very welcome to get in touch with my colleague Stefan Schönherr, who's leading brand and media team and who can tell you much more about all these topics. So let's move on to the second success story. For this, we have our guest here, Felix Metger. Welcome, Felix. Felix, you are unit lead shopper experience at iSquare, and you are a real e-commerce expert. You have many years of experience with online and offline e-commerce research. So taking all these current developments into account, online shopping increases, what do you think? Do you see this in your daily work at iSquare?
First of all, Carina, thank you very much for guiding us through this webinar so far. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. Yes, it certainly is interesting times for us as researchers here. And yes, we have seen a lot of turmoil in the shopping arena in the last weeks and months. And we are noticing changing shopper behavioral patterns. We're noticing that in our research. We can hear it from our clients and we hear it from our partners as well. So there is a lot of change going on. We see shifting spending habits. Some categories growing, some losing. We see a trend towards e-commerce, of course, as you have already mentioned. What behaviors will stay and what will go away again is hard to predict at the moment, but we all expect some kind of change.
Mm-hmm. So then I'm very excited to hear about your methods and your research approaches to understand e-commerce behavior better for retailers.
All right. As I said, we are seeing changing behavior patterns. Shopping online in some categories, it has been going on for years. Books, clothes, electronics have been bought for a long time online. FMCG products, everyday consumer goods, not so much. More in the US, where maybe 10% of the FMCG turnover was made online. In Germany, rates were marginal. 1% of consumer goods were purchased online in the past. And more and more shoppers are going towards the online channel right now. For many of them, it might be the first contact shopping online. What we see is that for many online shoppers, purchasing their everyday products online is still difficult. We are used to purchasing in supermarkets and bricks and mortar stores. They are laid out. So we can find our products as easy as possible with as little friction as possible. We can find our ways through the store. We can navigate easily. There's lots of research going on in how to present shelves and how to communicate a brand at the point of sale. Online, this is still new for many brands and certainly for many shoppers. Some of them feel confronted by pretty much a random digital shelf full of products, as we see in this image here. There's no brand blocks or segment blocks, and shoppers have to actually think what they do and how they do it. And what we can show with our research and what we can test with our clients is how to make this whole online shopper journey as easy as possible, provide the right visual cues, the right information at the right point. And online, just like offline, we're in the same situation that attention spans are extremely short. If you want to communicate your product, you do not have much time for it. So it's all the more important to use the right visual cues to present your product in the correct way, to make it easy to buy it. Not just easy, in the best case, you make it fun. You can inspire people to buy your product. And online shopping will, in my opinion, it will only stay strong after the crisis or during the new normal if the experience overall is as easy as possible, if shoppers do not encounter friction. And that's where we step in with our research and with our advice to our clients. What I want to show to you today is how to communicate most effectively in online stores to shoppers. We've developed our tool, the e-commerce A/B test, specifically for manufacturers, so they can use online environments as test markets. All of our clients have been testing offline in shops and in labs for many years. They know very well how to build a shelf, but they're new to online, and often they don't have the same possibilities to interact with the retailer as they have in the more established communication with the supermarkets, with the drugstores, or with the various other offline retailers. And here we can help. So pretty much with the same technology that you already presented, Carina, we can provide an online store, a replicated online store, which feels very close to the real thing. And we can fill it up with products. We can arrange it. We can exchange certain elements in order to test concept, to test products, but also how to communicate the products, which images to use, how to communicate multi-packed so they are easily findable, how to describe products, or more and more important is the whole aspect of retail media. So where and how to place ads online and which promos to play. And we can do this all in our online test environments, include new products on the search results page, as we see on this image here, or we can replicate product pages to see how the product should be communicated in order to convince the shopper to add it to the basket. And I want to show you one very classical example here, right up front, so you can see what it's worth, why it's worth it to do this kind of research. And this is a very famous example that I'm showing you here. It's how Ben & Jerry's redesigned their pack shots to work effectively in e-commerce areas. This whole concept of hero images was developed by Unilever in cooperation with University of Oxford in order to make visual communication more effective online. And what we can see here is one on the left side, the classical pack shot. This would be the image as you can see it of the ice package in a supermarket. On the right side, we see an improved image. The lid is taken off. We can actually see the ice cream in the carton here. The element that you actually desire when shopping. Brand logo and product variety is highlighted. Some visual cues are highlighted, while other pack elements have been completely reduced. And images are extremely important when people browse over a list page with lots of products. Imagine somebody enters ice cream into the Walmart online shop and they see a long list of ice cream products. People browse over the images before they start reading the text to the right side. That is a cognitive challenge already if you want to choose your product and then you're confronted with lots of text. Well, people look at the images, and from the images, they want to see, they want to find their desired product. And it is important that these images communicate as effectively as possible. And hero images can do that. So optimized pack shots can work. Manufacturers can sell more of their products if they use them and if they are placed next to the usual pack shots. Now you might wonder, what's the point if everybody turns to hero images and all products are shown as hero images? Well, the point is, it will make the shopping experience easier for the shoppers. It will make choosing the product a lot easier. So this is the first example of why manufacturers test in online markets. Another one, and this is gaining in importance actually, is where they're coming to us and asking us how to spend their money on e-commerce advertising. There are increasingly a lot of possibilities to advertise on retailer sites, on Amazon, on Walmart, on Zalando, and pretty much all others. Now, banners, skyscrapers, or promotions can have different effects depending on where they're placed. And we can simulate this, add banners, inject banners into a homepage, and see what people purchase if this banner or if this element has been presented. And here's some benchmark numbers which we have recorded over the past. Advertisement on retailer pages can be effective. It can be extremely effective, but it depends on what you do and where you do it. A banner on a homepage, as we see on the left side here, can increase sales. A banner on the search page, so closer to the products, can even have a bigger effect on sales. While a skyscraper, as we see an example on the right side, often does not have an effect. And it is important on where companies advertise, in the sense that it can have different effects on the product, the brand, or the whole category. And it is also important on how you communicate your product. So testing creatives is important. They can have different creatives can have a huge effect on what people add to their baskets. Now, very briefly, how we do this? Well, we've got our replicated retailer sites, and we can fill these sites. We can fully control these sites. We can fill them with products, as in the list that you see on the right side, and we can inject new elements, new products, new prices, new descriptions. And we can do this on a set of different retailer sites. We test quite a lot on Amazon all over the world. Walmart, of course, is very important for the US. We test on Rewe in Germany and use Auchan in France, for example, just so you get an idea on which retailer sites we can provide for testing. We do these tests and multi-method. We've got a multi-method approach. So we've got our behavioral component where we test the digital asset in context. We record what people do, and we combine this with surveys in the second step in order to find out how they evaluate these products. Now, these are fast, quantitative online studies with a monadic test design. So with test and control groups, can run them all over the world. They're completely data safe. They we can provide reliable results for our clients in a very quick time. Here, just a quick example of what these environments look like, or what the whole shopping task procedure looks like for our respondents who take part in the surveys. We give them in step one some information or a recommendation on what to look for, what category to purchase. Then we launch them on the retailer site where they can use the search function or the category menu. And then they arrive on a list page, which looks and feels like natural. And at one stage, we might have our product injected or an advertisement injected. Respondents can browse the page and they can add products to the basket, after which they are then redirected to the survey. So this whole procedure is easy, it's fun, it's easily incorporated into quick online surveys. And here, just some more examples, so you get an impression of what we do, what we test. I already mentioned the hero images. Often our clients want to understand how to communicate multi-packs, right? Please remember, these images often are very small, especially on mobile phones. And you cannot see how many elements are in a package. So again, we've got a Unilever example here with the Magnum ice cream, which looks quite delicious as well. Somebody bitten into, so you can see the product already. And a highlighted number 8. So you know immediately, without having to read the text, you're going to buy a multi-pack with 8 elements here. And then we've got an example from the Netherlands for the Robijn brand. Washing detergent. It tells you how many wash loads are included if you buy this multi-pack. To the right, we also have some not so good examples from the Neutral brand, which is a hero image as well, but it's a bit cluttered with a lot of text, with vertical text to it, which is hard to read if you browse down from top to bottom and look at images. You have to take some time to read this. So you might even have to calculate how many wash loads are included, 5 times 27. And then we've got another image of a pack shot, which does not highlight the amount of elements. It's probably hard to see for anybody that this bag contains 10 smaller bags of chips. So just some ideas, comparisons of what hero images can deliver and how they can work. Now this is, in my opinion, also very interesting. This is not, we did not test a changed package image here, but we tested a whole new package that was supposed to work online and offline for the Tostitos brand. And what we could say is that the new package would work as well online as well as offline. Overall, this package is more appetizing, is what we found out in our survey, but it also performed better on the digital shelf. 18% of our respondents in this test group added it to the basket. And another topic that's coming up more and more is how to design product pages. On Amazon offers this special A+ package to manufacturers to promote their products or their brands. And we see an example here from Reese's peanut butter cups on the left side. So manufacturers can design this and use it to persuade shoppers of the product and of the brand. This is something that can be effective. A couple of challenges involved here as well. I mean, the first one is that shoppers actually have to browse that far down the product page to see these elements. They might do it in some categories, like on the right side, we've got high-end earphones where people are more likely to scroll and to look for more information than maybe on groceries. But again, as everywhere, you can use this space more or less effectively and set the right visual cues in order to promote sales or to promote the whole brand. Now, just wrapping up quickly, what is important in our research, as always at iSquare, is that we use a combination of different methods to really understand the shopper at the point where the decisions are made. And we want to completely understand the whole experience. So we use the combination of behavioral data, in this case, from the shopping task with explicit survey data to explain how certain digital assets perform, how they perform. Very quick overview of one of our possibilities to test in the e-commerce arena. And now I give back to you, Carina.
Yeah, thank you, Felix, for these interesting examples. Very great to see how detailed you are able to explain shopper behavior. And thank you for your input. Of course, if anybody of you wants to know more, just get in touch with Felix. Now let's jump over to the third and last success story. Now we have heard a lot about advertising, marketing, and also about the product itself, about the packaging, about the categories. So now let's talk about online shops themselves for retailers, for companies who have their own online shops. We have a method how to benchmark your online shop with your competitors. And I would like to give you some insights into the e-commerce data we are having. So what does your X benchmark shows us? It shows us the strengths and weaknesses of your product, your app, your website, your online shop, the aspects that should be optimized, and also, of course, what you can learn from others. And this all from the user's point of view. We are asking real users. This is a fast and very efficient way to compare your performance with competitors. We are asking existing users and first-time visitors via an online access panel. We are asking them to rate your site. We are confronting them with your site. And what's very important, we are using a holistic methodological approach for that. We are combining explicit and implicit methods, as we have seen in the research approaches before. We are using system acceptance, which is a very proven user experience rating scale with a large benchmark database. We are using since more than 10 years at iSquare with every kind of UX study. Secondly, of course, we are asking for Net Promoter Score, very important measurement for marketing, the recommendation, as you all might know. And third, we are using the iSquare product React. This is a reaction time-based measurement, and it assesses the gut feeling users have, so about the website or the app. This is also a little bit like the brand React, which one of you may know. So let's have a look into the e-commerce shops we tested. First of all, we have the results of system acceptance here. As you can see, we tested eBay, Amazon, Home24 and Saturn. And regarding user experience scales, we can see that Amazon shows the best results regarding utility. Amazon is considered to be the most useful online shop. This is probably due to the fact that Amazon is #1 in online shopping, and it's regarded to be so useful because it has this good search bar. The search bar is the most used feature in the Amazon homepage. We know that from many research Felix and his team did. So the rest of the page might be, overloaded with a lot of information, with teasers, with products, and so on. But I think 98% of users start looking at Amazon via the search bar. And this is considered as being very useful. On the other dimensions, Home24 scores best in ratings, especially in terms of overview, usability, and comprehensibility. It just has a very good online shop. Let's have a look to user groups, users and non-users, so existing users and new users. As I said at the beginning, we have the fact now with increasing online shopping during Corona times that there are many new users that are forced to do online shopping. And we can see that they are actually rating more negative than existing users do, mostly regarding efficiency and also regarding utility and trust. So we can still see that they are not feeling so secure and that they are a little skeptical towards these online shops. Having a look at NPS, Amazon is recommended most. Amazon has the highest NPS here as an online shop. #1, I've already maybe explained some potential reasons for that. eBay is scoring very low at this point of time regarding NPS. As we have a look on the comparison between mobile and desktop, Amazon performs best on mobile. Also, regarding NPS, we see a very, very big difference between new users and users. Especially for Amazon, this behavior can be seen most clearly here. We have the highest gap in terms of recommendation. Users, existing users have an NPS of 58, while new users of -59. This is a huge gap. And as we know, since Amazon has such a huge product range, it is basically made for everyone. That's why the NPS for Amazon is so high. Now, having a look at the implicit, at the reaction time-based results. For those of you who do not know the product React yet, I brought you a small video. Yeah, sorry for that, it's in German, but I think you can see it very well. What happens here, so what we are doing, we are displaying a certain product, a website. Here you can see mobile website of Allianz. We are displaying some attributes like creative, motivating, clear, trustworthy, and consumers are asked to agree or disagree. So what we are doing, we don't only measure if they agree or disagree, what we are normally doing with traditional questionnaires. We are also recording the reaction time. So a quick agreement has a stronger weight than a slow agreement. This is scaled from 0 to 100, and let's have a look at the results. So we have 3 dimensions: safety, appeal, and inspiration, which are crucial for product perception and are the basic emotional needs of consumers. So as we can see, the dimension safety, Saturn actually performs best with a score of 60. It's a very trustworthy online shop. It has a trustworthy image, is a long time on the market. It also is known by offline shopping. Maybe this is an explanation why it has a high result here in the safety dimension. eBay scores worse with a amount of 53. Here we can also see that Home24 still is very strong. It is very appealing and is also very inspiring. It shows the highest ratings here, the spontaneous feedback of users. Besides the fact that Home24 has a good UX, has a good online shop, it may also have a small influence, the fact that, of course, the product range from home and living is something which is already quite appealing and which is inspiring maybe more than Amazon has a very broad product range or eBay does. So let's have a last look at the reaction time as results also for users and newbies. New users for all the online shops here aggregated regarding safety, appeal, and inspiration. New users are more concerned regarding online shopping, and they are also harder to inspire. So they are more skeptical, and existing users feel more secure and also more inspired by the offer, which we can especially see here at Amazon. So these are some short results into our UX benchmarking data for the e-commerce branch. We have done this also with other branches. We have done this with the financial industry and the travel industry. So very interesting insights. And if you are interested to know more, you are welcome to get in touch with my colleague, Julia. So now we are almost at the end of our webinar. Last but not least, what is our tool set for you? As I said, iSquare understands consumer behavior across all the digital touch points, advertising, point of sale, online shop experience, as we have seen today. We do this with in-context and implicit state-of-the-art research tools, which is very important. And also we are adding explanatory power to your insights by our large benchmarks. Thank you very much for your attention. Stay tuned for our next webinar next week, System Zero from Short Context to Long Relations by Michael and one guest. And of course, I think we are having 10 minutes left for questions. You are very open to write the questions in the chat. You must all have access to the chat. This is there for questions and answers. So go ahead if there are any questions. Thank you also, Felix, for adding your insights to this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carina.
Let's have a look if there are some questions.